Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Office Podcast. I am your host, Asan. Just want to thank everyone for tuning in to the last episode. Your support, as always, is always appreciated, and your support is always amazing. So thank you very much for that. As some of you may know, that it is tradition on this podcast now to start with a quote of the day from The Office. And I always open it up on a random page. So here goes. Random page has been selected. So we either have Creed or we have a Pam quote. Seeing as I don't like Pam, we're going to go with the Creed quote. And the Creed quote is, in the parking lot today, there was a circus. The copier did tricks on the high wire. A lady tried to give away a baby that looked like a cat. There was a Dwight impersonator and a Jim impersonator. A strong man crushed a turtle. I laughed and I cried. Not bad for a day in the life of a dog food company. Creed's quotes are absolutely amazing. That is the episode where Andy is trying to teach people about the little wire thing that he went on that little sabbatical with the team from Dunder Mifflin or No, he didn't. He went on a camping trip with David Wallace's son, and Andy was sent there because it would help him be more decisive. That's what it was. And the quote refers to Dwight trying to do the little walking wire thing and not being able to do it, but Clark is able to do it, who's the mini Dwight, apparently. So, yeah, I nailed that quote. We all know what episode that is. The one where he wants Pam to sit on the bike as a counterweight while he rides along the car park. Yeah, I nailed it. That took a very long time to explain, but you know what I'm talking about. As always, thank you for returning to this podcast. This is just for people that love The Office, the US Office specifically. And what I wanted to talk about today is something I've thought about for a while now. I've been pondering this for a very, very long time, and that is, do I think if Michael had still been in season 8 and 9, would they have been strong seasons, firstly? And secondly, how would he have fit into the narratives? So let me get the first question out of the way right now. Yes, if Michael had stayed in the show, I think it would have been a bigger show. Him being in the 2 remaining seasons, there would have been so much more shenanigans going on. It would have been, and it is the best comedy in my opinion of all time, it would have been so much more better if he was in those 2 final seasons. Now, some of you are probably wondering, how would he have fit into the narrative? I think he would have fit in pretty easily. I think that, of course, he would have stayed manager till the very end, but I think he would have retired and passed on the baton to Dwight, and that would have been an amazing moment where he literally is stepping down as manager and he has all the authority to pass it on to Dwight. That would have been the best ending in the world, in my opinion. David Wallace giving it to him during his karate ceremony, yeah, it was nice. It was a nice moment, and him screaming Dwight Schrute is manager, that was a nice moment too, but I think it would have been nicer coming from Michael. So let's just start at the start. So obviously season 7 is where Michael leaves, and then you have D'Angelo Vickers, aka Will Ferrell, that comes in and replaces him for 2 episodes, which were hilarious. I really enjoyed those 2 episodes. And then you have the interviews, and then season 8 begins. So season 8, obviously, you find out that Andy is now the branch manager, and you've got Robert California, who has talked Jo out of her own job. Now, I think that the Jo narrative still could have happened. I think that Robert California easily could have been placed in there, even if Michael was still there. There could have been some crazy thing happening where Jo wants to sell, Robert is now the CEO, and Michael and Robert's dynamics would have been crazy. They would have been the best ever. Like the episode The List, where he has the 2 lists, winners and losers. Like, I can just picture Michael being on the loser side and all the shenanigans that unfolds off the back of that. That would have been an epic episode to have him be a part of. And just in general, like, Andy being manager, that was a nice touch. Don't get me wrong, he played a good manager. But another really, really good episode would have been when they all went to Florida. Michael being in Florida probably wouldn't have worked. Him being back in the office and, getting up to all the shenanigans with everyone else would have definitely worked. But if they had a spin on where Michael wanted to be the project VP or whatever, they could have done that as well, where him and Dwight went head to head for it. That would have been really good as well. And then Michael trying to talk Dwight out of not taking it because, he finds out that Robert's going to tank the saber stall. All that stuff could have happened with Michael still in the show. And again, season 9 as well, where Dwight's getting married and all of that stuff, Michael could have easily slotted into those episodes. For me, I was very sad when Michael left. Michael, for me, in most of the seasons was the show. Now, of course, you had Jim, Dwight, the other main characters. You had their narratives as well. And without them, again, the show would not have been the same. But for me, Michael leaving was a big hit. I think it was a very, very big hit, him not being there. I thought that, of course, because, contractually, Steve Carell's obviously wasn't going to be in the show contractually. He was only contracted to be in there for season 7. But having Michael Scott in the show would have amplified the stupidity of it, and it really would have been the best series of all time. So I'm just trying to think of other examples where Michael could have fit in, but it's pretty much all of them. It's every single one. Michael finding out that Angela's husband is not being faithful, that would have been absolutely crazy with him being part of that. Him being part of the actual documentary right towards the end as well, where they're all watching it, sat around the computer, that would have been crazy. So there's a variety of different narratives. Again, Gabe and Erin being an item, and Andy trying to kind of win her back, and then Michael being a part, like, he was a big part of the show. So yes, I think he should have been in the show, and that's how I believe he would have fit in. He would have fit into all of those narratives perfectly. Even with Michael trying to help Dwight potentially get the job in Florida, the one that he interviews for in Robert's apartment or whatever it is, that would have been an incredible episode where Michael drives Dwight to Florida to do that. The Doomsday episode as well, where Dwight is set up an email for every single mistake that they make, and then obviously after the end of the day, the email goes to Robert with everyone's opinions of him. Michael in that episode, God, it's a missed opportunity, man. It would have been such a good show with him. I'm not sure about the Holly narrative. It was nice that she was back for a little while, but I enjoyed it when she wasn't there. Her and Michael's banter, yeah, it was good, it was okay, but I feel like his chemistry with the other people in the office was much better. I feel like the back and forth you have with Jan was just legendary, some of the best I've seen in a show. Even with Donna, the episodes there were really, really good as well. But I feel like with Holly, it was a bit forced, it didn't feel really right, and it just could have been better. Again, with David Wallace coming back towards the end, that would have been a nice little, because I think the relationship ended off quite well. Mike obviously quit and then started Microsoft's paper company, but the beef was squashed, after that. I think Michael was happy with David Wallace and their relationship, so that would have been good too. Like, there was so much they could have done, a lot of missed opportunities. And I really think that they should have fought for Steve Carell to be in the final 2 series. It really was a big hit. And this is not taking anything away from the show. It's still a very, very incredible show. My favorite of all time. But I feel like Michael Scott being there until the end would have really amplified the comedic element of it. The storylines as well, I think, would have been a lot stronger. Like, imagine Michael on the little pie adventure to get that pie because of the work bus. Stuff like that would have been incredible. So, yeah, man, just missed opportunities there. But I think it would have been a very, very good 2 series. Not that it wasn't anyway, but to have Michael Scott finish the show in style and then move away with Holly and then live his own life, that would have been better for the show. And it was nice that he came back for that last episode where Dwight got married, but I feel like he could have been there for the whole thing. But again, that is just my opinion. I would love to hear yours in the comment section below. That is the episode for today. Thank you so much for listening or watching wherever you're consuming this content. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe and share, and I will catch you all on the next episode. Take care.